What is the proper way to check your blood pressure to get accurate measurements? In this video, I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do. The most important thing, the number one thing, is to be consistent in doing it the same way each time. And this is the biggest challenge with patients. One day they check it with their left arm, the next day they check it with their right, then the following time they check it on their wrist, and then sometimes they had coffee before their test, or they had some caffeine, or one day they didn't eat breakfast, one day they did. It's so variable that it gives you just false numbers. So the main point of this is to get accurate numbers. And the second thing is to understand that you are testing your resting blood pressure. You're not testing your blood pressure after caffeine. You're not testing your blood pressure after you run up a flight of stairs. You certainly don't want to check your blood pressure when you're having anxiety. The main goal is to find out what your blood pressure is in a resting state, because that's the true definition of hypertension, is high blood pressure of a certain number during rest. And this is the biggest challenge with medical offices, because medical offices simply don't have the time, or they don't make the time to check the blood pressure properly. So they run you into the office, the nurse slaps the machine on your arm, she's talking to you, pushes the button, starts taking notes, ask you why you're here, and it's just a very stressful environment, and of course your blood pressure is higher than it is normally. So that's what I'm going to show you. So step one, let's just dive into it. Step one is make sure you're in a chair that your feet can touch the ground. You want your feet flat on the floor. You want to make sure that you're not crossing your legs. In fact, if you cross your legs, it's been shown that your blood pressure numbers can be higher by 7 millimeters of mercury. So right there, if your legs are crossed or dangling, as they very often are at a doctor's office when you're on the table, then you're not getting accurate numbers. So feet flat on the floor. The second thing is it should be a comfortable chair with a nice back support. So you shouldn't be leaning forward like this. You should be leaning back. Your arm, whichever arm you want to choose, but traditionally you want to check it on the same arm each time consistently. So we're going to use my left arm for reasons I've mentioned in other videos. But you want to make sure that your left arm is at the level of the top of your heart. So your heart is primarily on the left side, 2/3 of it is anyway, and fits in right here. So the top of the heart is about sternum level. So you can see that my arm right now is actually too low. So here's a nifty thing that I have, but you could use something to prop up your arm, is I'm just going to lower the chair because I have a hydraulic chair. So what happens here is now if I rest my arm in this position, now the upper arm here is level with the top of my heart. You're going to wear loose clothing. Do not put it over a big sweater or a jacket. You want to pull up your sleeve so that there's no constriction here. Now this blood pressure cuff is a very good one. What you need to be aware when you're checking this blood pressure is the placement of the cuff needs to be accurate. And what you'll see here is right here, there's a thing that says artery mark. And so this part of the cuff needs to be over the artery. Now where's the artery? Is it on top of the arm? It's not. It's in between the bicep and the tricep here. So when you put this cuff on, you need to make sure that the artery is right on the inside part of the arm where it shows. Now the artery will come around and go to the front of the elbow, but that's not where you want the cuff to be lying. That's where the sensor is for the cuff, okay? The next thing is to make sure, and this is a common problem, is to make sure and have the right cuff. This cuff here has, you can see, it's got a range where it says, where does it say okay? Okay, so it says right in the middle, it says okay, and from here to here, As long as the arrow points to within that range, this is a proper cuff size for me. But if you have an extremely large arm, you may need a bigger cuff. If you have really thin arms, then you may need a smaller cuff. If the cuff is just too big for you, then the numbers are gonna read abnormally low. If the cuff is too small for you, then it's gonna read abnormally high. It's gonna give you false readings. So let's go ahead and put this on. And I am going to demonstrate what most people do, is they pull it tight and wrap it around. This is wrong, because right now I can't get my fingers in here. This is too tight. This is the equivalent of having a cuff that is too small for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen it enough to where I can get 2 fingers in there, like this. If you can get, let me show you too loose. If you can get your whole hand in there, then that's not tight enough. Most of the time you'll see that when you go to the doctor's office, sometimes the nurses may or may not know this, but they're putting it on too tight, giving you false readings. The second thing is it needs to not be touching the crux of the elbow. So it needs to be high enough on your arm so that there is a little bit of space, about 2 fingers width of space between the crux of your arm and the machine. Now this is a video, this is for demonstration purposes, so I'm not going to talk for a moment, check my own blood pressure, and what we're going to do is I'm going to show you what you need to do before you do the blood pressure cuff to make sure that you are nice and relaxed. And that is to do about 5 minutes of just not thinking about much and just some deep breathing exercises. Many people find that beneficial to just kind of relax themselves. This is useful at the doctor's office if you have white coat syndrome. So I'm just going to spend some time relaxing, but I'm not going to sit here and let you watch me do deep breathing exercise for 5 minutes. That would be the most boring exercise. So again, this is just to demonstrate how to check blood pressure correctly. Then what you're going to do, not talking, no talking during the blood pressure cuff test or the blood pressure test, you're just going to push the start button and just let the machine do its job. Okay, so here's my numbers right now. 123 over 72 with a 54 pulse. Not bad, right? So that's how you do it and get accurate numbers. Now, as a side note, I'm going to pull this up because this feels funny. You need to supply your body with enough nutrients to have healthy blood pressure, and many people are not getting enough nutrients. The main key when it comes to foods is you want to eat foods that are high in potassium, high in magnesium, and high in certain things like L-arginine and L-citrulline. These are foods that I've made many videos regarding that, and I'll put one at the end of the video of foods you can eat that have these things. But for many people, they don't like the taste of the foods, or sometimes our diets aren't perfect, and that's why you may want to take a supplement. This is something called nitric oxide flow, and this has L-arginine and L-citrulline in it. These are the things that your body uses to create more nitric oxide. And the nitric oxide is a gas inside our blood vessels that opens and expands the blood vessels, thus lowering your blood pressure. So I'll put a link down below in addition to that. I take this every single day. Sometimes I use their powder form because it tastes good, particularly after exercise. But either way, you want to make sure and get the correct nutrients necessary to lower your blood pressure. So that link will be down in the description, and then watch this one that supplies you with, this video here will give you information regarding foods that are high in either L-arginine or L-citrulline.